Hey friends, I'm Henry with BrainStorm Acres, and I'm pretty psyched today. I have what I think are the last pieces to put the pressure side of this digital vacuum wax injector together. Now you see the back of the unit, which you really haven't seen in the past, mostly because most of what was going on was on the front. But now it's time to be doing things on the back. I have a straight union that connects an 8mm air tube to a 6mm air tube, which is I think all I'm going to need now to finish putting this together. Unfortunately, the manufacturer shipped instructions for a different model. They changed a bunch of things, which I'm actually fine with because what we got was a better unit. Has 2 air cylinders for clamping the mold clamp. And that's great because it means we're going to be able to handle some larger molds. The problem is that they didn't ship hoses and connectors that will go between all these different pieces and this unit right here. This is the air clamp control unit, and that has only 6mm connections on the back. And that's a problem because I have to have some 8mm hoses connect to it. Well, there's 2 ways to go about that. One is to try switching some of these connections out, which I don't think that's a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and convert from an 8mm hose to a 6mm hose where I need to. Now the interesting thing is going through the schematic for the unit. It's interesting to me mostly because, again, this is not the same unit that the instructions were written for. That's fine. The connections still have to be made the same way in about the same place. Well, first let's make sure that I can connect this regulator here to the air compressor. Well, first I'm going to check to make sure that all of these connections actually fit the air compressor. I'm positive they do because I checked the air chuck fitting, but I'm going to go ahead and try it anyway. I have a standard air chuck, which is a 1/4-inch fitting, to an 8mm airline fitting. These are all together. I should just have to go ahead and plug this in. Click. The air compressor is now connected to the clamping unit controller, and that's great. Now let's see where the next piece has to go. All of the electrical connections are where they're supposed to go. But I need to connect all these different ports on this air clamp unit to where they go. Well, this goes to the wax tank, but let's see if it's actually supposed to go to the wax tank the way I have it plumbed, or whether it needs to go to that regulator. Wax tank. Yes, this one goes, the wax tank connection goes to this bottom port here, and so that's all connected up. So that's one of the 5 that has to be connected. Next one up is the air supply. Let's see where the air supply goes. Now the air supply goes to the outlet of this air regulator right here is what it looks like. Let me make sure. That's what it says. I'm not convinced that's actually right. I think this needs to connect the outlet of this regulator right here. Making connections with these push to connect connectors is pretty easy. All you need to do is press it in until it seats, and then it stays together. To take it apart, you press in on this little part of the fitting and it comes out very easily. Now that says it's connected to the air supply. Let's see if that still makes sense. That still makes sense. The exhaust port is to allow depressurization of the air system so that you can control other aspects of the machine. So you don't always want to have air pressure going to the various parts, so that allows it to exhaust. Now that's all done under solenoid valve control. Solenoids are simply electrically operated valves. The next one up is the exhaust. I just have two more to connect, which is the forward and the clamp. The clamp is one of those connections that has to have a conversion between 8 millimeters and 6 millimeters. So this new union is going to help in that job quite a lot. Now, I don't think this is going to reach all the way to the clamping mechanism, so I'm going to swap it out for a piece that I've already cut from a separate purchase I made of some nylon tubing. Now, I bought the nylon tubing specifically for the vacuum connection. The difference is this poly tubing here is relatively soft. It flexes. I don't want to have the chance of this tubing collapsing when I'm trying to run the vacuum. Now the only piece of airline that I need to connect is the portion of the air clamp system that says forward. That's this port right here. Hello, Isa. Thanks for coming. But you know what? You need to get off because I have things to do. Isa, our cat, always wants to get in my lap when I'm busy doing something. I don't understand why. Maybe I do. Rufus is down in the studio with Irene. He's doing great. He's kind of chill today. Relaxing. He's had quite a week of it. He's been to Flagstaff twice, been to the local post office 4 times. So he's getting some real-world experience with other things. So new sights, new sounds, new smells, new animals, new people. It's all part of his training to get him to be used to all kinds of things that he might not otherwise experience if he were in the city. Well, you're going to have to get down now, Isa, because I have... And don't bite me. Ow, get down. That was not nice. She decides sometimes that she has to bite me because she doesn't want to be put down. Hey, you, get out of the chair. She doesn't want to get out of the chair either. Okay, you gotta get down. I think she's going to go into the bedroom because the door's not closed. Normally we keep the door closed, but since we got Rufus, we have a child gate that's keeping him out of there. But Isa can jump over it, and she just came back. That isn't necessarily a good thing. I'm going to use this little tubing cutter. It's intended to cut the tubing without leaving an angle on it. It takes a little bit of work to do. I press and turn and press again, mostly because this tubing is tough enough that I don't want to collapse it. And it looks like it's going through now. That's it. Getting these cuts square to the tubing is important because the way these fittings work is to seal against an O-ring. That one's in. This fitting's right down in the middle of the clamp. It's in a pretty hard to get to spot, but I think I can get there. After all those weeks of waiting for pieces to come in so I can connect this up, it's all connected together. The wiring and the tubing is a bit of a jumble. I have zip ties that I'll be using to tidy this all up once we've actually had a chance to use it and verify that things are set up the way we want them to be set up. So, it's going to be interesting. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications because we're going to be doing a lot more. In fact, Irene's down in the studio right now doing more. We'll talk with you later. Bye. Oh, keep brainstorming, cat. Keep brainstorming. We do. Do you want to get my lap now?